All right, so I'm going to do a walkthrough of this practice quiz here. This one's about doing the leap year. We need to decide if it's a valid input, and then we're going to decide whether it's a leap year and then decide whether it's a century or not. So the very first thing we need to do is take in values from the user. Oh, actually, the very first thing I should do is I'm going to have a print statement that asks the user for a year. Give a year between this and this. And then we want to take in that year. We're going to say int year is equal to, and we're going to do integer value of, and then we're going to do scanner dot next line. Okay, and that's going to get us our integer value. Next thing we need to check to see is if the value is between 1,000 and 3,000. If it's not, we should say invalid input. So I'm going to say if the year, so it's not between 1,000 and 3,000, it'll be less than 1,000. If it's not between, so if it's either that or the year is greater than 3,000, then we should say system.print. And it's going to be this thing in here, invalid input. Otherwise, we're going to go through and we're going to do these next two checks. I'm going to do these as a pair of if-else statements. So the first thing I need to check to see is if the number is a leap year. So we're going to say if the year mod 4 is equal to 0. So if we divide the year by 4 and there's no remainder, it's going to be divisible by 4. And so we can system.print that. Hopefully I didn't. Okay. And then we could say else, not a leap year. And that really handles this kind of, there's a lot of different ways we could do this. I think this is the cleanest way of doing it. If this is true, do that. Otherwise, do this. We've handled all of this so far. There are probably ways we could use an else if in here and have like some more complicated kind of checks, but this is, I think, hits the prompt the best and is very straightforward. So we're going to, or in my opinion anyways. And then we're going to check to see if the year is divisible by 100. So we're going to say year mod 100. If the remainder of this is 0, then we should do system.print. And we're going to say the year is a century. Let's put that in there. Hopefully everything is visible here. And then I'm going to say else the year is not a century. I think it's really helpful to do these copy and paste stuff just so I can do this a little bit faster. Doesn't really matter if it's not exactly that, as long as I can tell kind of your intent on this one. All right, so this should work. If it's less than 1,000, greater than 3,000, do that. Otherwise, it's going to go into here and do this. And yeah, there's no need for looping or anything in that. We're just going to do this. So give a year between 1,000 and 3,000. Let's try 500. Invalid input, okay. Because we do want to make sure that these ones are not working. Good. And then we should say something. Let's check in a year that should be divisible. Let's do 1,020. It's divisible by 4. Not divisible by 100. Perfect. Let's find something. Can we find something that's both? What about 1,400? Leap year, end of the century. I think it's helpful to just check all these things. Let me find something that's a century that's not a leap year. Is that even possible? Might not be possible. It's divisible by 100. It's going to be divisible by 4 too. So can't really check that one. All right. Well, there we go. Yeah, that should do it. So, okay. That's my answer. I've checked my work. I think I'm pretty confident this is right.